Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. We are finally going to be going over the best books of 2025. I have made it through all the other videos. It is time to finally film this one. And we're going to be starting with some honorable mentions first. Just books that were almost there. They were almost there, but they didn't quite make the cut. So very first we have Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I really enjoyed this one. Honestly, the plotting is really what let this one down. I actually really enjoyed the romance, but the weird cult things that were happening in this book were just very strange. I do think the plot needed a lot more work, and also the rampant sex at the end of the book definitely did take me out of it. I was kind of expecting it based on what it is, but it was a lot. It was a lot, but mostly it was the plot. The plot was a little bit silly. So if the plot had been cleaned up a bit, I do think this could have been a 5-star favorite of the year. Next up, we have Library of Hellbore. Ugh, this should have made the top 10, but we had so many other good ones that something had to give. So Library of Hellbore was a 5-star horror this year, probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite horror book this year. This is by one of my favorite authors, Cassandra Khaw, and it's I get why people don't like it. It's a bloody, gory mess, but for some reason, Cassandra Khaw's writing style, they just make me feel destroyed. It's beautiful writing. The emotional impact for me is just always there. And as usual, I was sobbing while reading this book because it just hit me. It hit me. The found family was so good. The ending was so good. I definitely want to reread this one. Next up, we have the brand new T. Kingfisher in the Sworn Soldier series. That is What Stalks the Deep. And it is my favorite of the series, which is really exciting. I think T. Kingfisher took elements of both the first and second, basically took the best elements of book one, best elements of book two, and combined them together and finally had the perfect little novella. It was so good. It was not overly complicated like the second book was. It really the cast stayed small, so you kind of understood who you were talking to and you got to know them a little bit better in this little novella. And it was just fun. It was weird horror, but weird horror that I really enjoyed, and it was very unique, and I like where the story went, and I cannot wait for another one. Next up in honorable mentions, we had Reluctant Immortals. This is by Gwendolyn Kiss. I think this author is becoming a favorite because the other book that I read by them was on my top list last year, The Haunting of Velkwood. And there's just, again, it's female rage and female redemption and learning to love yourself and taking back your power. It's following our main characters from horror movies basically from the past. You're following the female characters of them, and yeah. Yeah, so it's basically taking place in the 70s, so in cult time period, and they're trying to break free of their masters and what has been done to them, and they're trying to take back that power because they had no choice in what happened to them, and it's so good. So we have Dungeon Crawler Carl, just the series in general. I've read so many this year. I think we're on book 6 now, and this is every book has been a 4-star so far, but it is a 5-star reading experience as a whole, if that makes any sense. It's the same thing with the What Stalks the Deep 5-star series. The books aren't all 5 stars though. So Dungeon Crawler Carl, just amazing. Audiobooks, 5 stars, easy. Audiobooks are 5 stars. I would recommend everybody read them. And the last honorable mention is Morningstar, the 3rd book in the Red Rising series. This was originally in the top 10, but it did actually get knocked out at the last minute for a couple of books. And mostly because I'm starting to forget this series. It's not a series that is going to stick in my head for too long, but when I read them, I'm like, oh yeah, 5-star, this is amazing. It's just not something Red Rising for a lot of people is one of their favorite series of all time. For me, it's this is amazing, but there's other things that I like better. It's generally not my normal genre that I really enjoy. So I do think that's one of the reasons, but it's great while I read it. And I just kind of forget things. It's probably also because there's a huge cast, and that also hurts my brain. Okay, moving into best books of 2025. Coming in at number 10, we have In an Absent Dream. I already talked about it in Most Surprising. Sobbed. This is one of the Wayward Children series. It's following one of the teachers from the previous books, and it's just her story, and it's tragic. It is, a lot of these books are tragic, but this one for me really hit the hardest because it felt not the most realistic, but I could really feel the emotions in this one. It felt like real people telling this story, and it really did something. It did something for me. I loved it. Number 9, this is crazy putting this above In an Absent Dream. Direbound. Diary Bound is number 9. There's gonna be a lot of romantasy on it. It's a weird list. This is a really, really strange list this year. Diary Bound is a 5-star romantasy read. I loved it. I would reread it. I love the main character. A little iffy about the romance. I do think there was too many sex scenes. And I didn't love the ending. It's crazy me talking about this book because it sounds like I didn't like the book, but I loved it. I loved it. Fury Bound is one of my 26 of 2026 that I cannot wait for it to come out. I've already pre-ordered the hardback of Diary Bound and of Fury Bound. I'm so excited. Like, I'm so excited. It's just a fun book. And sometimes you just need a fun book. Number 8 on this list is the only non-5-star in the top 10. And I have an explanation for it. Hear me out. Hear me out. It is Sunrise on the Reaping. It would be surprising if this was not on this list. This book is phenomenal. It made me probably cry the hardest I've cried this entire year. My problem, and why it doesn't get a 5 star, it's a 4.5, is I do think it had a little more fan service. I wanted a little bit more originality in the book, like what Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was. This one just didn't have the originality I was looking for, so I was not vibing as much with it as I did with the other book. So I just wanted more. I wanted more to it, but I still loved it. I still loved the book. Number 7, we have The Reformatory. This one probably should have been in Most Surprising because it is a historical fiction horror book. And I'm not the biggest on historical fiction, but I don't think I've ever read a book with better storytelling. I could tell you the entire book right now, and I read it months ago. It's so rare for that because my brain is like a colander. It just, stuff just right out of it. Just goes right out of it. And so I read books to enjoy my time reading them. Like I normally don't read for getting a ton of like extra comprehension out of it. If I'm reading a classic, yeah, maybe I do that. But I generally just want to read to have a good time. The Reformatory is one of the only books that I read where I felt like I really got something special out of this book and that I will never forget it because the storytelling, it was insane. The storytelling was absolutely insane. And this told such an important story and it had a lot of stuff in it that I had no idea was even a thing. So these reformatory schools, I didn't know they were a thing. You're not taught about that in school. It's had a lot of historical context to it that is so important. So if you want to read any book from this list next year, I would say read The Reformatory because it's so good. I think it's not a fun read. It's uncomfortable. It's going to make you uncomfortable. But I don't think I've read a better written book in years, to be honest. Next at number 6, we have The Man Made of Smoke. Again, I've already talked about it in Most Surprising, so we're not going to talk about it too much more, but I really enjoyed it. Best thriller mystery that I read this year. Emotional impact that I was not expecting, and I definitely want to pick up another Alex North. Number 5, we have A Dance of Lies. This is a tricky one because I am beginning to forget some of the plot of this, but I really loved the chronic pain rep that I normally don't read in books, but I think it was done really well in this, and it is different than my chronic pain, so I didn't have as much issues with it, but I love the main character. I thought the plot was so interesting. This is a phenomenal debut book. It's probably one of the best debut books that I've read ever, like literally ever. And this is definitely one of my favorite fantasies of the entire year. I don't think it's going to be an all-time favorite of mine. It's like I said, it is already starting to trickle out of my memory a little bit, but I could not put this down and I read this so quickly, and I definitely am excited for the next book in the series. Number 4, again, we've already talked about it, The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I mean, what else can I say about this one? The Gargoyle. That's what I gotta say. Grumpy. Kind of grumpy. I was gonna say Grumpy Sunshine, but like kind of grumpy. Loved the romance in this. Loved the gargoyle. Loved the character. I loved everything about this, and it was heartbreaking. Had so much emotional impact in it that I wasn't expecting. I want to get my hands on the second book in this series so badly. Number 3, Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. Again, another one we already talked about. It was just good. I feel like when you talk about best books, I feel like worst books you have like complaints to talk about, but in best books it's like, yeah, I just really liked it. I liked the main characters. I loved the side characters. I loved the found family. I liked the magic in it. I thought it was really emotionally impactful at the end. I liked the direction the story took. I thought there was a really compelling plot. It just had all the aspects of a book that I love, and it was put together in such a fantastic way. Number 2, we have Quicksilver. I know it's crazy. It's crazy to have Quicksilver on here that high, but I did not have more fun with the book than I did with Quicksilver. I ate that shit up. I ate that shit up. I did skip the sex scenes because it's probably the funniest thing about this book is my friend Marissa warned me. She's like, there are very graphic, like choking sex scenes. And I was like, oh God, I don't want to read it. So that's why I didn't read it when I first got it. Put it off for a really long time. Then I was like, okay, it's finally, I gotta read this. I finally gotta read this. So I picked it up, read it, didn't notice that in the book. Talked to my friends. I talked to Alyssa and Amy. I was like, oh my God, I loved it. And Alyssa's like, oh, and I told Alyssa, I was like, Alyssa, read it. So Alyssa read it and she's like, oh my God, those choking scenes. And I was like, did I read a different book? No, it's because I skipped all the sex scenes. So when I read a book, it may be a totally different reading experience than other people because I generally will skim sex scenes to the point where I will not know anything that's happened in them. I skim for like dialogue just to make sure there's no, like nothing that happens in them that I have to know. But like, I'm not gonna remember that that's happening in the book. So I read a cutesy Kingfisher novel. Like that's what I read. I read a funny Carrie Ann Swift and Kingfisher novel. And that's how I read Quicksilver, and that's why I loved it so much. So I would recommend to read Quicksilver that way because it was great. And then my favorite book of the entire year is First Time Caller, and I read this back in like January or February, something like that. It was a long time ago and it has held up. I loved this book. This book is amazing. It does everything I want in a romance book. There's a little bit of jealousy, there's a lot of tension, there's like grumpy sunshine, there's a little bit of grumpy even with the main character. There's even a kid in here and I loved the kid in it. I'm shocked. But I think it's a Sleepless in Seattle basically retelling. And it was just so cute. And there's podcast elements, there's radio elements, and there's like competition, there's dating. It's just so fun. And the side characters are fantastic. It's one of those, basically it could be a Hallmark movie, but like elevated. I could see this as a movie and being enraptured by it. And again, it's probably because it is very Sleepless in Seattle, which was a movie. But it's just so cute. I fell in love with the characters. I fell in love with the world that was created in this book. And I am so excited for the next book. I think it's And Back to You, which I know it's going to be When Harry Met Sally and You've Got Mail are the two that the next two books are going to be. I don't know which one the next one is going to be, but oh, I'm so excited to read it and I absolutely love this book. So anyway, that is everything that I have for you today. Those are my best books of 2025. Definitely let me know down below what your best books of 2025 are. Is there like a phone emoji? Leave a phone emoji if there's one for First Time Caller. If you made it this far into the video, definitely like the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.